watching my page and thanks for tuning in. Today I want to talk to you about 20 things I learned in 20 years of marriage. If you follow my personal Facebook page, if we're friends on Facebook or in real life, you probably know that my wife and I recently celebrated 20 years, and we're talking about how it might be fun to put together a video that talks about 20 things that we learned in 20 years of marriage. Originally I had 47 things. I've cut 27 out and we're down to 20. Given to you in no particular order, here's 20 things I learned in 20 years of marriage. Number one, marriage is fun. I seriously have had the most fun being married. Certainly that is a benefit, right? For people who make it and really push into marriage, it can be a lot of fun. Number two, marriage requires two people who are constantly willing to change. One of the things that marriage has taught me is that I have to be willing to change every day if my marriage is going to make it. If you're going to have a great marriage, you have to be willing to change. Both of you have to be willing to change over time. Number three, marriage requires two people who realize that marriage is something that we both have and do. This is a principle that was introduced to me by a mentor and former professor. He talked about how marriage is something you have, it's something you possess. I have a marriage with my wife, and it's also something that I do. And as something that I do, I have to work on my skills as a person who is doing marriage. So marriage is something that you have and something that you do. All right, number four, marriage requires people who are willing to focus on what could be, even in difficult times. So many times marriages end because people stop working on them because they failed to see what could be and they lost hope. So they forgot to engage the possibility of what could be. Number five, marriage requires hard work and commitment. This one almost seems like a no-brainer, but I can't tell you how often I hear people say, well, it shouldn't be this hard. Well, that's a very subjective statement. What does this hard mean? Should not be. What does that mean? Marriage requires hard work and commitment. Number six, marriage is an investment of my whole being. I have to be willing to put my whole self into the marriage. If I do that, I have a very good chance of having a good marriage. Number seven, marriage gives endless opportunities to practice healthy communication and generous assumptions. If you want to be in a marriage that works, you have to work at your communication. You have to constantly work at it, and part of that is making generous assumptions about your spouse. Even when they do something and you find yourself angry about it, you have to take the time to twist and to push and to manipulate your own thinking. Manipulate your own thinking, not the other person, right? To massage that, to think about it, to express it in what is the most generous possible assumption of what they're doing. Number eight, marriage is the greatest catalyst to growth that I know of because it requires you to look at yourself as you really are. It forces you to look at where you give yourself a pass for effort, but you hold your spouse to what they did. It forces you to look at where you might be selfish. It forces you to look at where you might not be thinking about others first. It increases your empathy. It forces you to increase your empathy. It forces you to increase your compassion. Number nine, marriage has seasons. There's actually a book out about this, I believe by Kevin Lehman, where he talks about how marriages have summers, they have springs, they have falls, and even sometimes winters. And much like a popular TV show currently that I've never seen an episode of, winter is coming for some people, and some people are coming out of it. And it'll last for weeks, months, sometimes years. You have to keep digging and keep pushing for those good seasons. Marriage requires forgiveness. You have to be able to say words like, I'm sorry, I was wrong, will you forgive me? With no but after it. In other words, a lot of times I'm tempted, and I know I'm not the only one, to say, well, I'm sorry, but you did this. No, it's just, I'm sorry, will you forgive me? And then the other person has to say, yes, I forgive you, and it has to end there. It can't come back up in another argument, another season, another disagreement. Marriage is the best way for me to spend my life. One of the things that I've noticed is the return on investment in a marriage is amazing. If you're willing to work at it, right? These things build. Hard work and commitment earlier and now. It's the best way for me to spend my life because it's the best way for me to teach my children about unconditional love. It's the best way for me to show the world around me about unconditional love. It's the best way for me to work at becoming the best person that I can be and helping someone else become the best person that they can be. Namely my wife. Number 12, marriage isn't about problems, it's about how you solve those problems. Every couple has problems. It isn't that unhealthy couples have more problems than healthy couples, it's just that healthy couples do a better job of solving those problems in a way that is productive and helpful for the marriage. Number 13, sex gets better as we age. I have a friend, he's in his 40s, and unfortunately, he's had some broken marriages, broken relationships, and he has a mentor in his late 50s who told him, sex is better now than it's ever been, and my friend couldn't believe it. But here's the thing, if you give your whole self, these are again building these things, right? If you give your whole self, as you age, sex gets better and better. It's a wonderful thing. Number 14, growing old with someone is good for the soul. It's just good for you to grow old with someone. We know this scientifically. They've had more and more studies done where people who are married tend to have better health. They tend to live longer because they have someone to share life with. We are wired for connection. Number 15, being married to your best friend is the best. This comes with hard work and commitment and develops over time. There's a time in my marriage where my wife wasn't my best friend. There's a time in my marriage where my wife didn't like me and I didn't really like her. But we engaged those troubles. We engaged those times. We had talks that lasted weeks. And then we engaged in behavior change. Because being married to your best friend is good for the soul. Number 16, marriage helps us learn what unconditional love is. Any marriage that has made it any amount of time has had to engage in unconditional love. It's had to engage in, I'm going to love you no matter what. So what's unconditional love? So many times I hear this skewed. Unconditional love is, I love you right where you're at, no matter what. And I want you to be better. And I want to push you and be a catalyst to help you be better. Marriage helps us understand what unconditional love is. Number 17, marriage requires regular deposits. Deposits of love, of time, of energy, of resources, of listening ears. So many people, they stop investing in their marriage. They get kids and they invest just in their kids. They get a job and a career that they like and they invest in just those things. You have to invest in your marriage. Quality time comes out of quantity of time. So if your marriage is going to be everything that you hope and dream it could be, if your marriage is going to be something that is fantastic, that you're glad made it, you have to make regular deposits into it. You have to constantly be tending to it, taking care of it. Marriage requires regular deposits. Number 18, marriage helps us see what we can be. One of the greatest things about marriage is it helps you. You have two people to walk the path together and you say, okay, so right now this is your reality, but you could do this. You could become this. You could do that. It helps you. If we're employing generous assumptions, it helps you to say, hey, you could be that over there. You could achieve that goal. You could reach that goal. You can do it. Marriage helps us see who we could be. Number 19, marriage makes me a better person. I don't know about anybody else out there, but I can tell you a lot of the growth that I have had in the last 20 years is because of my wife. It has helped me to be a better person. It has helped me to look at myself and say, this doesn't match the values that I say I have over here. I need to change this. Because marriage is something we do, that's a behavior. And so I have to change my behaviors to do and to be what I want them to be so that I can be the best version of myself. Marriage has helped me be the best person that I can be. Number 20, I'm going to end on this one. Marriage requires your words and your action. So many people just use their words or they just use their actions. It requires both. And anybody who tells you otherwise is lying. Marriage requires both your words and your actions for it to grow, for it to be bonded, for it to be two souls, right? Two people, one person, two person, that are intertwined together and doing life together in a way that helps them both be the best that they could be. Okay, so those are 20 things that I learned in 20 years of marriage in no particular order. Some of them do build one from the other. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this, please share it with your friends. Share it on your social media sites. Also, if you liked it and you're not subscribed, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Then go in and hit the notifications button so that you'll be notified every time we put up a new video. If you'd like more information, please go to joemartino.com. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.